Make sure my mic's working on this live stream. Got a little reflection here. Waiting on Kip. Y'all let me know what's going on in the chat. I'll fix my mic here. Yo, what's up, Aaron? Waiting on Kip. We're fixing to do the kicker live stream as well. How's the sound, everybody? E-Dud Art, what's up? Jeremy, 25, what's going on? David, what's up? What's up? Give me that mic check. What do we sound like? We sounding okay? Hello, Michael. Watch live now. Kicker is live. Audio sounds good. Seems good. All right. So I'm going to tell you how to win that big 3 kit. Then we're going to go behind the scenes with Kit. So simple, easy. We gave away 2 big 3 kits last night. Who's that? Sneaking up. So gave away 2 of them last night. We're doing 1 more today. You have until tomorrow at noon to enter. So here's how you're going to do it. Leave a comment below with your email address. Put your email address on this video, on the HifiVega video, if you're live on Kicker.
We're on everything live
okay.
Right now. We're live on Kicker and live on you.
So on this video that I'm streaming right now, leave a comment. You don't have to be in the live chat now, but leave it after the video is done. Put your email address. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel, HifiVega, and then go to HifiVega.com. And if you go to the bottom, there's a little submit form situation. Fill that out. That puts you on the HifiVega email list. And I will use a random number generator. And then I'll pick the winner from that. So that's it. That's all I can do.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll make it even extra special. I know you're using a random number generator, but let's rig it.
Let's rig it.
It's always rigged with Kicker Unmasked Live.
Yeah,
just
got
ask
to.
the folks to tune in. They tell me that all the week.
Right, except, these guys can't win, so.
Hey, Mike, you're doing a live feed. We're behind the scenes with Mr. HifiVega himself. He's doing a live feed, as you heard. He's doing another giveaway of his big 3 kits. We gave away some last night on the Kicker Unmasked Live weekly episode. So this is one of those spur-of-the-moment things we just decided to do. This man right here wanted to do it. So we're actually live on his stream, and we went ahead and fired up the studio. So we're streaming out through all of the channels that we're available on, which is our YouTube, our Facebook. We're even on Mr. Andy McGill's YouTube channel right now, so if you tune in from there, thank you. And of course, we're on HifiVega's. And so it's his show. I'm just here to help him do what he wants to do. So we're streaming it from both. We'll be talking to his camera. These cameras are trying to show what's going on behind the scenes. And really what he wanted to do, besides the giveaway bonus, was what's it like behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think, you know how to enter. So we got that out of the way. I figure I'm going to have Kip give you guys the tour. And I'm going to just follow him around and tell you, I'm going to show you, this looks really nice on camera, right? But when you start looking in the corners, you can see right here, we got something going on. So we scoped it out. There's nothing you shouldn't see in here.
For better or for worse. I know you like to see stuff we can't show.
I hope.
It's, everyone tuning in the feed over here. Obviously, we're going out over HifiVega's stream. We're over here on the Kicker stream. He's doing the giveaway and has told you how to enter for the big 3 kit. Here's what I'm going to say, man. Everyone stay tuned in to the Kicker stream as well if you're here, whatever, or if you're on the Hi-Fi stream. And I think maybe when we get to the end of this, whoever's hanging in, we're just going to do some seriously random pulls and we'll do some prize packs and Kicker too. What do you think?
All right, yeah, man. Sounds good to me.
It's Christmas. We doubled up on the prizes last night because we're not going to be live here next Tuesday. That's the 28th show. But we have recorded a show. It's in the can. It's got a special thing that we bumped onto the end of it. So even though we're not going to be live in the studio, we are going to have a show next Tuesday. But it's Christmas, and I'm in the giving mood. And so far, I think I still have my get out of jail free card from last night. But we'll see.
Maybe. Well, I mean, RGA, he may have done something. But big 3 kit, go enter, subscribe, HifiVega.com.
Hey, Mike, you know, I'll try to answer questions or two. When we get to the end of this, and we'll sit around and answer some questions.
Yeah, we'll answer some questions.
Mike, real quick, when will the specs for the new X be available? This is crazy. I just gave Hi-Fi a little run through. When he comes, I mean, he's been through the whole building before, twice. So really, I know where he wants to go as R&D. He wants to see the new stuff. And so I will say this, he saw some stuff that none of you've seen yet. Can't talk about it yet.
Yeah.
But the cool part is we actually got to go into the destruct room, and they are actually doing, I want to call it a power test, but it's not really a power test. They're actually doing mechanical tests on a spider that we're looking at for the L7 because we're looking at trying to get more improved performance on the spider. And they're actually going through tests on those right now, and he got to see them testing live. So they're real, aren't they?
Oh, it knocked the screws out of the box, out of the enclosure. Literally. I'm not even joking. I'm not, it's not hyperbole. The screws were out of the enclosure.
Screws were out of the enclosure. So, Mike, we want to get specs out to you as soon as we can. The issue is until we get all the soft parts dialed into exactly where Steve wants them, and he's the guy, we can't release any specs because no matter what we give you, they'd be wrong. So we are this close to having everything finalized, and once we're there and we can have an actual, this is all the approved parts we're going to do, and that's there, we can get Teal small specs right out of the clipboard, and as soon as those are available, we're going to announce them on the show, and you will get them. We'll put them on our website. I'm as excited as all you are about the new L7X. I was jacked up that we were able to get Hi-Fi in and actually see some that were going underneath testing, mechanical testing this afternoon, so that was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So keep stay in the feed. We'll do some giveaways. We'll come back here to the table at the end of this and try to answer some questions. But really what this is Hi-Fi wanted to do behind the scenes and do some giveaways on the big 3 kits. So I'm at your disposal. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so let's do the tour. And if you guys on this live stream have comments, want to see something, want a question, ask Kip. So let's start with the cameras. What camera, because I'm a YouTube guy. I like cameras.
Sure.
What are we using over here?
Okay, so if this is kind of interesting because we're on 2 different streams. He's behind the scenes,
right,
and these are in front of the scene. So, hey, open up 2 windows and watch both at the same time.
Exactly.
You know, we really, Ernie, myself, Bill, JW, Tim, Sandy, our focus is we want a quality production out of here every Tuesday night. Now, we may not do a good show, but that's on us. But we want at least the quality, the video and the audio to look pretty dang good. So what you see on the front cameras every night is not what's behind the scenes. And I think it's pretty interesting that if you walk around the scenes and then you look at what we put out of the feed, it's like, how are you getting that picture out of this room? Because behind the scenes it doesn't look like this at all.
Well, have you seen the meme of Homer Simpson where Marge is looking at him, he's just got his underwear arm, and he looks like he's in really good shape. And then you look behind him, it's rubber bands and everything, holding back all the skin. Yeah. Kind of like that. That's how every YouTube studio looks like that.
Kind of like that. So, this is obviously in front of the camera. I'm going to switch over and start talking to Hi-Fi's camera so we can do behind the scenes. So I'm going to get over here. Obviously, I'm shooting.
Let's talk about the cameras.
So these are, at night, whenever you see, Ernie likes to play games with me. And this is called...
The light.
Not that I'm trying to get too deep on anybody out there, but this is called a tally light.
Yeah.
What this light tells me, or anyone who's here on the stage set, is which camera is currently being fed to the program feed, which camera is going to the outside world. So there are nights, as you've seen, if you watch the show a little bit, where Ernie will go ping, 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 ping. He'll just keep moving the light around just to make me want to try to keep track of it. It's like a cat chasing a laser. But what we're using here, these are Blackmagic 1080p Ultra HD cameras. It runs, these 3 cameras run to the back of the studio, which you'll see here in a little bit. I mean, I'm sure Hi-Fi can get you some shots on the floor. I mean, there's cables running everywhere here.
Right.
I mean, there's cables everywhere.
Yeah, you have to watch where you walk.
But these cameras are actually fed to the back studio through 2 SDI cables from each camera. And what's cool is if you come around here and look at the back of the camera. So Tim, the camera guy,
focus peaking.
Yeah, this is focus peaking. So where you see that green, that's where the focus peaking is happening on this camera right now. And of course, Tim does this. So he can change, he can pull that focus. So if we want to blur the background, if we want to blur the foreground, he can do whatever. But when he's trying to get me on camera and have a good shot in the foreground, what he's looking for is good focus peaking here at the table and of course on me. And if I was in front of the camera and you were seeing
Right.
the focus peaking, you'd see green all over my face and with my beard now and everything that's going on. So this focus peaking is what aids, your eyes can see focus, but the focus
Right.
peaking is really your instant tool. Am I focused or am I not focused?
And Sean said it looks like the Matrix.
It does.
It looks like the Matrix. It definitely does.
Matrix-ish. Did we take the red pill or the blue pill today?
Right. I don't know. Who knows?
But what's also cool is that when Tim's back here running the cameras, so this, you notice the focus peaking went away.
Right.
Hey, Bill, can you hear me? Yeah. Go to cam 3. Okay. So if you'll notice, the camera view here on just changed. So when I hit the PGM button on this Blackmagic camera, Tim can actually see the outbound feed going out of the building from back here.
That's legit.
So if Tim, he's obviously setting up his camera, so if he's over here and he's looking at things, but the PGM button lets him go from what's this camera focused on,
right?
And if he wants to see the outbound feed, and now it's different because we're looking at camera 3, which is the next camera here to my right. So we actually have cam 1, cam 2, and cam 3. Cam 2 is set up with a lens. Go back to camera 2, Bill. Thank you, sir. So as you can see here, this is cam 2. We call this the main camera.
Right.
And with this lens that we have on here, we get a pretty good wide shot of the entire room on here. Of course, I'm out of focus. I apologize, folks. I'll try to keep you in focus as I go through this crazy stuff. And then, of course, for the show, we typically try to zoom in to about right in that area. We like to have the table legs out of the camera. And so that's what we call the main view of the room, right there. Then, whenever Tim's doing close-ups of any products that are on the desk or anything we're doing, this is, this is cam 1, and this is the close-up cam. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come down here on the table with this, and you can see, I'm gonna focus it in for you, and you can see that focus peaking coming into play, or as I shall now refer to it forever as the Matrix.
Matrix.
This is where Tim comes to, and he uses camera 1 so that he can get really good, clean, tight close-up shots of whatever product we've got on camera right here. So, Bill,
and they all have different lenses, right?
Yes, they're all different lenses. And if you're into I know you're into
Sigma,
cameras.
yes, that's a Sigma.
There's more money in the glass than there's the
Definitely.
body.
Yeah, the body is just what you start with.
The body's what you start with, and these are different lenses.
Oh, these have a Canon EF mount?
Yes.
Oh, you got a Metabone speed booster on there
Correct.
too.
So we've got the speed booster on there so that we can get more f-stops
almost a full frame.
Yes.
Right.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Our goal in this video, hey Bill, go to camera 1. You already got it. Oh, thank you. So as you can see from here on camera 1, and I'll try not to get you guys seasick here, but I'll come over here. Here's another good shot. So on camera 2, you can see that there's product on the table, but when Tim comes over here and he uses cam 1, and I'm using the focus peaking, you can see that light. You can see that focus peaking going on. We actually send a 1080p feed out of this building. We want good quality video for you guys to watch. And I'm hopefully right now, if you're watching this live, you can see all the details in that snowman pod. You can see the grill, you can see everything. And so as a company, we've made the choice to invest the money into having a really good camera setup with good lenses so that we can get great content out to you guys. If I go down here, I love doing this. So let's go down here, zoom in, and then focus peak right there. So right now, you guys should have a fantastic view of the front of the kicker key, the key 200.4 logo. It all comes through. Even I'll go over here to the side. Even the KS Midler, as I like to call it.
Got to say it.
It's there and it's in focus. And so this is the camera that we use for all of the close-up work that we do in the studio. Now we can interchange the lenses and we do that. Sometimes we'll swap lenses and move cameras around, do things.
Right.
The main setup on every show is this is product, or if we have a guest, this is the close-up camera for the guest. So last night when you were on, I don't really see the outbound. In fact, I'm focused on the show, but he can use this camera to actually get a close-up feed of you. So if you're answering a question, he can just pan to you and get a close-up view of you, or we'll use this for products. They're all 3 the same bodies. Each camera has a different lens on it for its purpose.
Yeah.
So this is the close-up cam. This is the main cam. And then, Bill, go to cam 1, or excuse me, cam 3. So on the show, and of course we're behind the scenes now, so you can see this. Here's a huge TV that's sitting here.
Right.
This is the TV that when I'm getting questions off of the Facebook or YouTube, now they all come together through the StreamYard feed, but this is what I look at so I can see what's going on. I have my laptop on the table so I can go through this feed and find it. So This camera is set up so that as close as possible, when I'm looking at the TV and I'm seeing your questions and I'm answering questions for you, that it looks like I'm looking at you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, when I'm answering a question for you, the last thing you want me to do is probably this. Hey, that's a great question. Let me answer that for you. You know, that's not a great view. So with this camera, what we set this up for, so that at least I'm looking at you while I'm trying to answer your question for you, and I'm looking at the stream. And so we call this Cam 3. And as you can see, there's a red tally light, so even the operator knows this is the camera that's hot and it's going out on the feed.
Right.
And so these 3 cameras are what we call the main cameras for the show. But this isn't all of them. We'll show the other ones when we get to the back.
Yeah, we got some. I got to show one thing up here.
No,
So, you guys know, I don't know, they don't see Tim enough.
No.
So Tim's awesome, but Tim has this is Tim's station. So Tim's got a chair over here, and he's got these. This is Tim's little whiteboard. So, and it's kind of broke.
It is. We need to give him a new one. We wore it out.
Whenever Kip starts going long, whenever Kip starts doing stuff he shouldn't do, Tim writes messages on here.
He does.
And sometimes they probably shouldn't be shown on camera.
There's about half of the messages that are on that whiteboard will not make it to the camera, and it's fine. We need to give him. Actually, we need to give him not only a new one, but we need one just a little bigger.
Right.
Because sometimes the messages need to be a little longer.
Yeah.
But Tim works back here. He does. He reminds me. If you look up on the wall, I don't know if you get a good angle from here.
You can see it.
That's actually a clock up on the wall. It has a countdown timer. It has a run timer. It's got a stopwatch. It has day, date, time, temperature. I mean, it's a full-blown clock. But the important thing for me is when I tell you the show's 90 minutes long, I'm really watching that clock, trying to keep it 90 minutes. But as we all know now, it's 90 minutes-ish. And check in tomorrow or the day after for the teaser for next week, and you'll find out.
Right. I mean, there's consequences. There's consequences. Let's show the video board, because I don't think people and no people that haven't used StreamYard do not get to see. This is what you see on StreamYard.
Yes.
You have your main screen, and then you have your comments right here, and you can switch back and forth. And the good thing you don't see, so this isn't up on stream, but usually you can see like the up nose shot of Kip and that.
If they've brought it on accidentally occasionally, but that's actually my laptop sitting here connected to the TV, and that's a perfect explanation. So this is the actual feed from our studio that comes out to you guys. This is my laptop that you 99.875% of the time do not see.
Right.
And then if we bring guests in remotely, like we've done in the past, like we did the big wrap-up show for the Showdown, we have all these guests that then just pile underneath here, and then from the back we can add these guests to the feed. We can change how they're laid out. We can do all that here on that function. And of course, here is the feed where we get all the questions that come in. And the cool part about StreamYard, and the reason we use StreamYard as an interface, I know you guys are watching on Facebook or YouTube, but what StreamYard allows us to do is we can take and put one show together. We broadcast it through StreamYard, and then StreamYard sends it to all the different Facebook channels. Like when we did things with Excess Power, or we did things like that, where we actually stream through their channel. They just add us as a user. We pull their channel in, and we can do that. We typically always stream through our Facebook. That's what this means up here, is we're streaming through the Kicker Facebook. Currently, we're going through the Kicker YouTube, and then we're going through the Living Aloud with Andy McGill YouTube channel as well. We stream through those 3 all the time, and if we have a special guest on and they have a stream that we can add on, we do that and bring them to the feed. So StreamYard takes it and sends it to everyone at the same time, and then the cool part for us is it brings all the comments back. And if you look at this comment feed that's going on here right now, you'll see, I know this comment came from Facebook. This came from our YouTube,
right.
our YouTube. And so it lets me know where the comments are coming from.
Only 100 of them, though.
Yeah, a typical show for us is this stream will end up being upwards of 1,600 to 1,700 comments. If you tune into the show, we appreciate and want every single comment. We want opinions. We want suggestions. Never, ever feel like we're ignoring you if we don't get your comment on screen, because it's impossible for myself and even JW and Bill, between the 3 of us who are controlling this, to find the ones that are good questions for everyone, good shout outs, all that stuff. We want to give everyone a chime up on screen, but going through, I mean, sometimes this thing's
well, and the thing that you got to realize, it says new comments here. So if he wants to show you this comment, he has to hold his screen here.
Correct.
We can no longer see new comments.
So and that's a good point. So what's up, everyone? I would love to win something from Michael Groves. So let's say I found that comment, or even the one above, Mike Engberg, who said, when will the specs for the new X be available? And I think and I see it, And I think that's a great question I want to answer, but I've got 5 minutes till I get to a point in the show where I can ask and answer that question. So I have to hold this here so I can click it, have it show up on the screen, and everyone can see it. Well, while
meanwhile, there's 90 more comments.
There's a 475 comments that are
right.
streaming, but I've held the screen here, and then when I hit new comments,
boom. Yep, we lose everything.
And then the ones that were there, I think the current buffer on StreamYard is about 100.
Right.
So if 150 comments come in while I'm held on this screen right here because I want to answer that question, and then I click new comments, those first 50, I never even see them, and I try to look at the next 100. So they come in batches of 100. So there's great things about StreamYard. The only downside to StreamYard is I wish the software had what I like to call a queue system.
Right.
So as these are going on, I could go, hey, that's a great question I want to answer for later, and I
drag it over, and because we have a sidebar that you don't see. We have a private chat for guests.
Yes.
All your branding stuff, banners if you want to do it. But it would be nice if they can just add it right here.
I'd love to, and actually Bill's reached out to them and said, hey,
yeah.
here's
those guys are great. They're improving on it, but it takes it takes time.
And this software is better than the first day we started using it.
Yeah.
We pay for a business account. It's fantastic software, and it lets us do all of this in a very concise manner and try to run a concise show. But as in life, there's no such thing as perfect. But we strive for perfection. So this is the screen that I look at every day, and then as you know, obviously over my right shoulder, there's lights here. There's a lot of lights.
Right.
All the lighting, the fluorescent lighting that's in this room, we actually changed over to 5,000 Kelvin, which is the temperature. When you
Daylight.
look at lights, it's not talking about how bright it is, but white light has a temperature. It can be warm. It can be bright, it can be almost white, and there's all the variations in between. So if you're familiar with like an old screw-in 60-watt light bulb, an old school incandescent bulb in your home, those were typically about 2,800 Kelvin. That was about where they were at. So it's kind of a warm-looking light. The lower you go in Kelvin, the warmer the light gets, the more yellow the light gets. The higher you go in Kelvin, the whiter the light gets. And for capturing HD broadcasting, the color temperature you want to use is 5K. And so when we outfitted this room, there didn't used to be 5K lighting in the ceiling. It used to be more like a 3,600, 32. It was more warm. And Steve prefers it warm. And he didn't like that we wanted to change the room to white lighter. But for capturing the show, it's what we had to have.
Right.
So we went through and changed every bulb in the ceiling, the cans and the fluorescents, all to 5K, 5,000 Kelvin lighting, so that we can capture really good HD imagery in here. But even with all that light in the ceiling, it's not enough light to capture great images up here in the front of the studio. So all this lighting is, I'm sure it'll pan around and show you, there's an overhead light here, there's two over on my left, there's one here to my right, and you'll see, since you're behind the scenes, you'll notice there's extra lights all stashed in the background.
Spotlights.
And so based on what we're doing for a show, we'll pull out more lighting. We may pull another light over here, we may drop another one over here, we may need to light a guest up more over there. So we actually change the lighting dynamically for every show based on what we're doing, but you have to have all this light to get the quality video that we put out. And I don't want this to sound like I'm bragging, but at the same time I am. I've watched our video feed and I've listened to our audio feed. It's good.
Yeah. You guys have one of the best streams out there. I mean, it's just high quality. You got the glass, you got the cameras, you got the lights.
So, but this is what it takes to do it. Now, obviously, you're seeing behind the scenes as you scroll around. So let's just walk over here. I mean, you can see there's tons of stuff here on the floor and in the background, and it's our organized chaos, as I like to call it. But this is product that, maybe in a show we want to bring a KMTC out and talk about that for the product, and then we're done with it for that show. It just gets pulled over to the side. All these boxes you see here in front of you, when we go mobile, which we have, Country Stampede was one of them, we went mobile.
Yeah.
So this is our mobile rig where we pack some stuff in the studio up, pack it in boxes, and we take it with us. We actually have some gear sitting in boxes around here. We're actually going to build a full mobile switching rig.
Oh.
A mini version of what you'll see behind stage here in just a second. And to go along with that, let's walk this way. Back behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, let me capture the wire.
Yeah, Tim, myself, and everyone, we're back here. You got to watch.
You got to be careful.
But so like here, these are brand new Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Pros.
Wow.
And we have 3 of these now. And Ernie and I, we haven't, it's not an argument in the bad sense of the word. It's just we've had a discussion. So are the new 4K cameras going to go in the studio?
Right.
And the old 1080p cameras go into cases for the permanent road. So we'll have a kit ready to go. We don't have to tear anything down. We'll have a kit ready to go out on the road mobile. Or do we keep the 1080p cameras here and take the 4Ks on the road. And what it is, they're not exact cameras. Besides being a 4K camera, there's different connectivity options and everything. So in some cases, the new cameras would be better on the road, and in some other cases, the new cameras would be better here in the studio. Since we don't output a 4K feed, we really don't know if there's a benefit to having it in the studio yet. But as soon as StreamYard and everyone else bumps up to 4K and has it as a consistent thing we can do through StreamYard, we'll go that route. But so we've got camera setups, so we can set up our mobile rig. Of course, behind the scenes, it
more lights.
You can see over here.
This is dinner table.
This is the dinner table. This is the glass that I have my dinner in, as you can see, before the show.
Leftover cookies.
Leftover cookies. These are actually courtesy of you. You brought these in. I've had 2. I'm going to go for 3, but not right now. But
there you go.
Cookie. So over here, this is where when we talk every night on Tuesday night about breaking bread and kind of having our production meeting, this is where we do it right here in the studio. We have another TV set up here, and we will bring either my laptop off the table over there or a different laptop. And when we have Zoom meetings here, so like if JW, myself, Bill, Ernie, if we need to have a Zoom meeting with someone outside of the company or even internally in the company, because we still have Zoom meetings here in the company still because of, you know.
Yeah.
This is kind of the area where we do our own Zoom meetings out of here. And so you'll see there's a light right here off the side. That's actually a light that we'll turn on so that we look good on a Zoom meeting. We won't look good on our Zoom meetings. We're
there you go.
In the studio. We gotta look good. So this is our little area. We try to keep it as neat and tight as we can, but it is that. And of course,
this is a work area. You could tell this is a work area.
This is just a work area. This is.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the resistor loads that we've used on a bunch of the dyno tests we do on the show that I've kind of permanently borrowed from QA, QC, because they said they don't need them right now because they've got other loads, so I just kind of held on to them. And of course, an O-scope, a drill, wires, all sorts of this. It's just kind of a catch-all area that we don't want you to see this on a normal show. We want the show to look good, but to put the show together, there's a lot of things back
There's
here.
stuff that happens.
It's the part of the stuff.
And then sometimes Kip wants to use every bit of wire you guys have to do something.
So, you know, there's an IQ amplifier, there's a couple of KX amplifiers. So when we tell you, people ask all the time, hey, I want an amp, I can't get an amp. Well, you can't get those. Those are amps I use for testing on stuff. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, no, you can't have those. But different wire, we did the Science of Wire show. There's some copper covered aluminum in here that we had on the show. And we just keep all this stuff kind of here and together so that when we get an idea or want to test something or whatever harebrained idea we come up with, we've got this stuff here. At some point when we're literally between our regular job and then putting on this show, the 6 of us that are normally in part of the show, we're busy all the time.
Right.
And so I don't mean it to sound like an excuse, but taking the time out to actually get some shelves and kind of clean up the studio, we don't find that time because there's very little of it left, but we need to find that time because this
yeah.
This is, you come up, my yard's mowed. It looks great. I got shrubs trimmed, the sidewalk's clean, and you open the front door and walk in, and there's clothes all over the floor, and the kids' toys are out. And this is what it is inside the house, not what you see. So,
yeah, it's the Homer Simpson with the rubber bands.
Exactly, it's the Homer Simpson with that. And then, of course, here,
this work area.
This is the area where we set up for the show every day or every Tuesday. This is a table where I set a lot of stuff. If I'm done with it, I can set off this side, whatever. Sometimes I have my laptop here to get it out of the way, but this is Command Central right in here. Sometimes we'll have a table over here if we got other product things we need to do, but this right here is where we do the bulk of the show. And sometimes you don't know what to put into words. When you look at something, you either like the way it looks or you don't.
Right.
You taste something, you like the way it tastes or don't. Maybe I can't put into words what I like, it's just I like the taste of that. It's really crazy, but the lighting in here right now is fully on. We've got the entire room on light. But for the showtime, we actually go through, we dim some lights, we turn some lights off, we do a lot of stuff to create that depth of field. And it looks really dark in the background, but yet when you get up here, nothing looks dark. It all has to do with playing with the lighting. And so the layering that we do in the studio, the different props and things we put in the studio that move around occasionally, there's a lot of depth in our image that we put on camera. And if you take that depth away, we can still do the show, you'd still have the content, we can still do the things, but it wouldn't look the same. And it's hard to appreciate that when you look out on camera, it doesn't look like I'm looking down something that is almost 100 feet long.
Right.
But it's almost 100 feet from the front of the camera to the back of this room. And that depth of field and all the things that are layered in here is what gives it that interesting look. To your eye, you're watching the show, and it's like, even though you're paying attention, you might, see that, I catch that, that's really cool. It's all these little elements in that depth of field that makes it look a whole lot more appealing and three-dimensional than just a flat plane.
Yeah.
So
And Ernie, he's got this stuff on lockdown. He knows what shot he wants to get. He's setting it up, and yeah.
He totally knows that. So, looking at me here, if you, obviously we turn around, it kind of feels like you're in the studio, but as we walk back through here, obviously we got stuff on that. We still got our Halloween stuff over here in the corner. We have a smoke machine, all that stuff we use for the fall Halloween episode right there. Now we'll have a bunch of Christmas stuff that'll have to go into storage.
Right.
But we really want to theme the studio up for the appropriate holiday.
For the season.
Yeah, I'm waiting for St. Patty's Day because, hey, green beer, I think, is legal.
Yeah,
on the show.
there you go. Green, yeah.
So,
Living Loud said he wished he had more room. He has to do his in a 10 by 10. Me too, bro. Me too.
It's, we've had this room that we're in, just to give you an idea, this room is 100 foot by like 43, 44 foot. It's like 100 by 44.
Yeah.
And right here, where this kicker sign's hanging up, there's actually a partition that can pull out and turn this into two equal-sized rooms. But normally the way this room is used is this is our main conference room, and before the pandemic and everything that happened 18 months ago, every month, all the employees would get together in here on a Monday morning or a Wednesday morning, and Steve would have what we call a company meeting. And we are a privately held company. A lot of people may or may not know that. I mean, some people look at Kicker and they look at, oh, they're the big company, they're the bully, they're this, they're that.
Right.
No, we're a locally owned company. The same guy who started it still owns it today. It's his sandbox, as I like to say. And Steve trusts us employees enough to let us know what's the status of the company. So every month when we had meetings, I know, what do we owe the bank? How much money did we borrow to get stock in for the next 30 days or last 30 days?
Right.
I know what the profitability is of the company. I know what our profit is. I know all that information, and we're all asked, and we're adults. This is inside information. We're not a corporation. This is private. You cannot share this. But you're the employees. You need to know what the health is of where you are employed. And Steve shares that with us. So this is where we did all that. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened, and we haven't had a company meeting in a long time. And so because we needed to find some way to replace the original show, which was SEMA,
right.
Steve said, let's use the conference room. And he gave us this conference room to use. And we're still using it. We have no plans. At some point, he's going to have company meetings in here. So we're working on a plan where maybe we can collapse back into half of the room with all this stuff.
Oh, no.
Have a company meeting and then let us pull back in. So we're still going to be able to use the whole room, but we're going to have to find a way to get a little more mobile.
Or wrangle. You're going to have to wrangle more space. There needs to be the unmasked studio.
Well, I mean, I'm a true geek nerd, whatever you're going to call me. So I went to college for computer programming and business management. And I'm a software guy. I mean, you can probably put me in front of any piece of software, even if it's the one I've never operated before, and pretty quickly I'll understand what's going on. And so I have home design software. I've actually designed homes for friends and family. I designed my own home that we're building. So when I say design, I mean I designed the whole thing on software.
Right.
And so I had designed a new studio and proposed it. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
It costs time and money, so we'll see what happens.
Let's show these guys the background.
Well, here, real quick, let's walk over here. So I think.
Oh man, the audio.
So on the show, and I'll go ahead and fire this on. So what we've got going on here, guys, is these are Sony wireless receivers. And Ernie and I have, over the years, used lots and lots of brands of wireless microphones and packs. And currently right now, I'm wearing a Sony, I'm gonna get the model number. I think it's UTX B40. I could be wrong, it's the latest one from Sony. And Hi-Fi's got one on as well. So on his feed, we're coming through his camera, but through the Kicker feed, if you're watching there, it's actually coming off our lapel microphones that we're wearing. These are the wireless receivers to our wireless microphones, and we've been able to travel anywhere in this room. We can even go outside the room. Maybe we'll walk over there briefly and show you Wade's area where we've done some of the science of wire tests. It's literally just on the other side of this wall.
Yeah.
So these are the wireless receivers for the wireless mics that we use on every show. And as a standard, we're set up that we can do 4 guests in studio on wireless packs. That's just with what's here. Now, on top of that, we've got several other extra wireless receivers and mics over there in our storage
area. Yeah.
And so we have the capability here that we can actually add an additional 3 wireless mics if we need to. And we actually did yesterday for some stuff we did in the studio. And of course we can do hardwired mics. There's actually cables on the floor here. We actually had a hardwired mic at both ends of the room for some things we did previously. But all the audio comes through all these cables. But this is kind of the command center for getting the wireless from our wireless mics right here. Charge batteries. So for like all the Steve Meade, the Tony D'Amore products, which are the
They're battery destroyers.
They are
Wonderful
battery
products. They destroy batteries for sure.
batteries. And I'm going to tell you, either this, first off, shout out to Steve Meek. Love your products.
Yeah.
No complaints. If I had to say anything, I'm not even worried about the battery life. I just wish on the AMM1 there was a way for it to
No
stay
auto
on.
shut off.
Yeah, I know it eats the battery, but
Yeah.
like doing a show like this, it'd be great if we had the choice. We could go in and say, turn off the auto shut off. Yeah, we know it's going to kill the battery, but that's okay because we got 4 more charges.
Yeah, we got them.
But this is the battery that Steve recommended, and it works really well. And then, of course, I went out and these are a PowerX 230 milliamp hour 9-volt that I use in the stuff. We now have 4 of these here. We use them in all the Steve Meek products. You do have to use a good rechargeable battery. I'll tell you that right now. Just buy yourself a good Tenergy or PowerX rechargeable 9-volt. If you're using any of those handheld products, you'll thank me later.
I was playing with the lithium ones. Not rechargeable, but I'm getting a little bit better life out of them.
Than just a standard alkaline battery.
Right, yeah.
So then, of course, over here we've got some gimbals that we can use if we need to take a phone mobile or do something with. So these are some gimbals that we have here to use. This is, I'll show you a little bit more about this in a minute because we actually have one set up. This is a fully wireless camera kit that allows us to take, we have one back there, we got a Blackmagic Mini on a setup that we can go wander around the studio or wander over into Wade's area, and it broadcasts a full 1080p high-def signal right back into the studio wirelessly. So we can do it without wires.
Yeah.
We have 2 of those that we can use. One's on a permanent rig right now. This is one we have as a spare or backup for that. And then this, along with that, is a mini radio station. And so what this is for is when we have guests who come in remotely. So if you're coming into our StreamYard feed and we're interviewing you or we're having a show and you're not actually in the studio,
Right.
I need to hear you. If we had a big speaker or use the TV or even monitors, if we did anything, it would cause feedback issues. And you've heard it sometimes in the show when we're trying to do things, it happens, we get into that. So we don't really want to use anything like that. So what this is, and of course these use, and of course we're on rechargeable batteries for everything here. Even with AA's, we use rechargeable everything. So this takes the signal that comes in from StreamYard, which is anyone who's coming in talking, broadcasts out this antenna, and these are the receivers that have earbuds in them, and we can plug in, it's just a 3.5 millimeter. So we have kicker earbuds plugged in. Here's some that have kicker earbuds in them. This is a set of earbuds that came with this set. And this is how I hear, you hear, or anyone's in the studio. If we have guests coming in remotely, this is how you can hear them. And it doesn't interfere or cause any feedback.
There we go.
We used to use Bluetooth products to get the job done. And ask me what I like about Bluetooth.
Yeah, we know.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely nothing.
The issue is when you've got 4, 6, or 8 pair of Bluetooth earbuds here, and we had a transmitter here that worked with Bluetooth, is that we might come into a show one Tuesday, fire it up, and they all turn on, they all work.
Right.
We might come into the studio, we're running behind, and things are hectic, and we go turn on, and 4 of the pair don't work. And it's like you gotta go back through and clear the Bluetooth and redo the pair. It's just Bluetooth.
Right.
And so there were several times on the show where like it's down to the wire and I'm trying to get I've got guests coming in, I got to be able to hear them, and it was one time too many, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna fix this problem. And so that's why I went to this, and this is really a truly professional system. There's no pairing. It's a VHF UHF system. It broadcasts just like a radio or TV station. You just draw on the mic pack, it picks up. I can walk just about anywhere in this building and hear what's coming in over the StreamYard feed with these.
Oh wow.
So they work very, very well. And so this is a system we use so that we can hear. And what's interesting about it is for Ernie and the guys backstage, they have to have those too, because if not, all they hear is me talking. They can't hear the guests.
Oh, nice.
So, it can be a little weird. But that's how we handle that and do that. So this is kind of the wireless center where we get our signals from our lapel mics, and we get the ability to hear what's coming in over the feed. So now if we walk back here, we'll go to the least messy first. So these boxes here, I told you earlier, a mobile rig. I'm starting to stack gear up. This is where we're starting to get our stuff together to actually build a mobile rig. When we can finally travel again, all of us miss it. We miss going to events and being out in the field and be able to get, person to person, drink to drink, meal to meal with people. But we're going to do feeds from in the field. It's going to be interesting, but we're going to get it done. So we're actually building a system here where we can do it. And I'm in line. I don't know when we'll get it, if you know how it works, but Starlink, if you're familiar with Starlink, the Elon Musk system. So we're in line to get a Starlink. So
you and a bunch of people.
Yeah. So hopefully wherever we're at, we'll be able to get a good data stream out so that we can do feeds from the field. So hopefully here soon. I've been waiting for a while. They've got my $100 deposit. I'd like to get my Starlink someday. So, but that's our plan, is to have a Starlink along with a mini studio set up here with the cameras, so that we can literally just grab 1, 2, 3 cases
and just roll.
And we're ready to go. And
I did.
Will be there.
Jeff Walsh did want to say, let's keep this to 90 minutes, Kip.
I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing my
Oh,
best.
man.
I don't think there's any time limit today. I'm actually on Hi-Fi's time limit. So when he says we're done. So obviously this is really cool. We've got that's a very nice camera.
Yeah.
And this is a full body gimbal rig for it. So you actually wear the camera. So
It's like a Steadicam thing.
Exactly. And we've actually, some of the commercials you've seen in the pre-roll that Kicker does, this gear was used in doing that. And what's interesting is the guy who's wearing this has some control over the camera. And then there's actually, I don't see it here. It's probably packed. But there's a remote control. So this is really a 2-person camera. The guy holding it, and he has some control, and then there's a remote control for the other guy, and he can pan, zoom, there's all these things they can do. A lot of those really cool shots that we get in those videos is because we have gear like this.
Yeah, that's a serious piece of kit.
And what we've done is, in the past, we would hire out and have other people do things for us and do those things. What we found out is we've got the people inside this company with the talent, the creative side that can do this, and so we've just been doing it ourselves for quite a while.
Yeah. Hey, you got it.
We got it. So
now we get to go see our buddy back here.
So let's go here first.
Oh yes, let's see all the wires.
Look down, you can see there's tons. There's power wire. There's XLR cable. There's SDI cable, which is an RG59 is what they run SDI over. But this is behind the scenes, so you can see right here. There's a lot of cable in here, and I got a little. I have a little, not a lot. Bill's gonna sound a lot. I got a little OCD, and I like things clean, neat, and tidy. And I can put up with a mess for so long.
Look, Bill looks like the mother that knows you're fixing to tell a lie.
And in spite of how this looks, this is actually clean compared to what we had. Because when we were setting up the studio, I jokingly say it, but it's the truth. Ernie, myself, all of us, it's been drinking from a fire hose for the last year, and we've learned a lot. Both what hardware do we need, what software do we need, and what light. I mean, it's been a learning experience for us. So a lot of times this was a rolling experiment back here, figuring out what we need to have. And finally, we got to this point where this is the system, and it works, and it's working. And so I went out and bought these big, long power strips.
Right.
I screwed them to each table, and I brought all, because this looks good compared to what it did.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you've never tried to manage this amount of cables, wire management is insane.
It's crazy, and the thing is, we're only going to go so far with wire management in here because we don't know if we're going to end up staying in this area long term for the show, because we have no plans to stop doing the show. I mean, we're going to continue doing the show. That's our plan. We just don't know if it's going to be in this studio. Are they going to move to another space in the building eventually, or will that plan we just kind of get us?
They said abstract acoustics. Someone called Dean and get a couple thousand zip ties, and El Fuego says. He says, Dean is having a zip tie seizure looking at those wires.
Oh, Dean, if you're watching now or watching,
he's working. He's working. I'm going to point him to this video, though, because this will really set him.
So as you're looking back, there's a lot of wiring here. This is the behind the rack situation, but I'm not embarrassed to show it off as much as I used to be, because it's actually clean compared to what it was. But there's a lot of gear that has to be plugged in. You can see these are 24, if I remember right. I think these are 24 strip. They're either 18 or 24. And they're almost full, and then there's still other power strips. There's a lot of gear that's plugged in back here.
A lot.
When we fire up the studio, the power meter outside speeds up a little bit.
Right. It's going to cost you a little extra.
But as we go, let's kind of go around. So this here is a... Pardon me while I strip over our Christmas lights. This is a wireless router that we don't use the wireless at all, but it's a router. And the reason we have this router is because underneath here we have a Synology RAID box. So a lot of the files and things we produce in the studio, we need somewhere to back up to. And so this Synology RAID box is how we back them up. The machines that are back here, I guess the best way to call them is they're kind of air gap. These are not part of the Kicker network. This is a completely independent system. We have one machine that's on the DMZ, so that it can be exposed to the world, and that's how we get our audio and video feed in and out of here, but nothing here interfaces to Kicker. So if anyone thinks it'd be cool to hack in and get into the Kicker computer running StreamYard, that's as far as you're gonna get, because it's air gap.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for it to go. But then behind the scenes here, I'll put this chair out of the way, hopefully you can.
Yeah, I can squeeze in.
So this right here, this is where Ernie sits during the entire show.
This is Command Central.
This is Command Central, and I'm gonna turn that down because we're getting a little bit of feedback. So what we've got going on here is and we specified these are top of the line computers, and we did get them from Dell. We don't need, myself and Ernie are fully capable of building computers. I was probably building computers before some of you were born. Yeah. What's a 286 SX, Kip? Well, let me tell you the difference between that and a regular 286. Do you know what a DX and an SX is? There's a whole conversation we can have there, but we specified these. These are top of the line i7 machines. They're fully loaded, as much RAM as you can cram into them. They use solid state hard drives. They're fast machines. They all have top of the line NVIDIA graphic cards in them so that we can do multi-monitor output. And since Ernie does Premiere, which is Adobe Premiere, editing here, so like anything you see, the teasers or stuff that we put together, Ernie edits right here. He had to have a machine that was lickety-split quick.
Right.
And Ernie, when we got this machine in, Ernie fired it up and did some editing. He's like, man, this thing is fast. I go, thank you, you're welcome.
Well, and for people that don't know, we do the promos after the stream.
Correct.
So, and then Ernie edits them on the fly before B-dubs.
Correct. We get that out of the way before B-dubs, because
Right.
editing after B-dubs.
Well, you can't have B-dubs until you've done your work.
Yeah, gotta work, then you got your B-dub. So this machine is the Premiere machine for primary editing, and that machine is the host machine for this Blackmagic switcher. We actually have two Blackmagic switchers here in the studio. So from this position, Ernie can, you see there's two mice here, and there's actually two keyboards. There's a keyboard here, and there's another keyboard. So Ernie has the ability to control this machine and his machine. I know it sounds weird, but I'll tell you in a second. So the Premiere machine is set up here for Ernie to Premiere, and it is the host machine for this Blackmagic switcher. And that screen and this screen both go to the same computer. So the person sitting here, which is JW,
Yeah.
he can control this switcher, and Ernie can control that switcher from his console. Both of them are available. You can see everything that's going on, and you can control this switcher from over there. The other computer, which are two computers down here, one of them, the one on the left, is dedicated to just the main switcher right here. That's all. That's its only job. That computer talks to the software, talks to the switcher, and gives you the output on the screen. There have been times in the show, because we've lived them, where, you know, computers are computers, and sometimes they lock up. The cool part, and the reason we've got this broke out like this, is when, not if, but when, it doesn't happen a lot, but when it happens, if that computer locks up or that computer locks up, it doesn't matter. We can take the studio down, reboot those computers, and then the switchers keep the signal going out. So there have been times during the show that you don't know it, but Ernie's back here having a 4-alarm fire trying to reboot a machine because it went to sleep or something happened, an update happened that he didn't, whatever it might be, something happened and he had to reboot a machine, and we could still get a feed out. Now when that happens, Ernie, through a headset, which so this is a headset right here that Ernie,
and Tim.
JW, and Tim use during the show, and it allows them to hear each other and communicate back and forth during the show. So Ernie will tell Tim what view he's getting ready to go to, or Tim will tell Ernie what Kip's getting ready to do, or Ernie will say, hey, give Kip a message. And so I've gotten the message that says, computer's rebooting, don't change.
Yeah, don't freak out.
Just stay on my topic, keep doing what I'm doing,
Right.
don't change. And then when it's back up and running and they can do stuff, then they'll come back and say, we're good. So it does happen, but we try to make it be as seamless as possible behind the scenes so you don't know it's happening.
Right.
But it is a live show. You're going to see stuff happen that's not intentional, it's just mistakes happen.
Well, that's why no one back here is mic'd, because
Correct.
this would be like when they mic up the NFL football players.
Yes.
This is what it would be like.
It would be exactly like that. We get enough of these guys back here through the air on my mic
Right.
up front when they yell and do things that, yeah, there have been some conversations back here we don't want to be on here. Let's just say that. So this is Ernie's main switching station. He's got a pair of JBL monitors here that he can use to listen to the audio feed. He also has headphones he can listen to. We have a floor monitor, so like before the show, if we all want to hear the show or play music or do whatever, we can do a floor feed out onto the floor. And then this is his main video switcher. This is his mixing console for all the audio. And just to give you an idea, like I'll bring up I'll bring up this. So if you look at this screen right here, this is the switcher. So right now, we're doing a premiere. We're previewing cam 3. We're outputting cam 2 on the kicker feed. If I do this, I'll switch now. I just instantly took you guys to cam 3. Down here, I can then go back. I can premiere. So now I'm previewing the close-up. So Tim's getting me a picture ready. He's getting the focus tightness ready. And when he tells Ernie it's ready to go, then what I can do is I can come over here if I wanted to, and boom, I can cut to that picture right there. So what this screen here, this big one does, is it allows Ernie to see all 8 inputs that are coming into his switcher. They're not going live yet. He can just view them, just like he's watching another TV station. So there's 8 channels right here. This is cam 1, cam 2, cam 3. You notice this one here says wireless cam, it says searching for camera unit. I'll show you that one in a minute. This is my laptop, so whenever I bring things up from my laptop I want to put on the show, this is the input for that. And then Premiere Box, that is the Premiere machine. So if we want to get an output from the Premiere machine, we can. And then HifiVega 1 and HifiVega 2, those refer to these machines right up here. And what these are media players. They're industrial grade, they're broadcast quality, they're built to, you know, not break and do things, but they work off SD cards. And this is where any of the commercials, pre-roll content, pictures, stuff we bring in from the outside world for shows, all that stuff goes into the HifiVega. Ernie can then cue that stuff up, he can bring it on the screen, and he can then do, you've seen it in the past, he can do picture-in-pictures. So he can take anything that's here and make it a main, and he can take anything else and make it a PIP, a picture-in-picture, and he can place it wherever he wants on the screen. He can preview it and then bring it in live. He can do all sorts of stuff like that back here through that hardware software setup. And so this is preview on the left, and this is program. This is what's going out to the world on the right. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch you back. Boom, so that, and if you notice, the first time I did the switch, I did it on the software. The second time I did the switch, I did it from the hardware. They work in conjunction with each other, but there's also a host of other things that you have to have the computer do. So like, this is the switcher, it mimics that, but then when I come down to here, this is a media bank. So I can also pull content in directly from the computer and bring it in and use it off of what are called the internal media players. So I can queue things up and have those play. Then this is the audio switcher, which this is probably, you know, guys like to see this. So this is the fader port that's talking to this, but this is all of the input and output levels from the studio that are leaving the room. And what Ernie can do is if he's over here and he's on the switcher, or if he's working on media stuff, he doesn't have to go to the switcher here. He can actually adjust audio on the fly right here with the hardwired controls. This talks to the software and they stay in sync.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. And of course then he also has full control from here of the cameras. So camera color, hue, tint, gamma, everything that you want to talk about. Ernie has settings in here. He spends hours. Ernie wants the color right.
Right.
He's a whole.
He's big on the color.
He's huge.
Well, when he's seen me selling my M50, I think he thought that was one I used for streaming. He was like, no.
He did. So then moving on down, what you can see here, so that's Ernie's seat and that's the main switcher, but then we come over to here. This is our analog mixing console, and what this is, all of the wireless microphones or wired microphones or anything we're putting together, this pulls all of our signal into one feed that then we can shove over into Ernie to come in the input on his mixing board. So this is us, the ability to control everything they're analog. It's very convenient because while Ernie's doing stuff, he can give command cues to either JW or Bill or even Sandy, if she's here, you know, let's mute Kip. So I just muted myself. So out in the real world, it's on the kicker feed. You see my lips moving, but you really don't hear anything. You might get a little
You hear from mine, yeah.
You'll hear it from his mic. So I just muted my mic here. I'll come back live. For those of you on Facebook, you have an 8-second delay before you hear me. So, so we have, you know, really instantaneous control of the microphones, levels, and things right here going into the system. And then this that you see in front on this rack, this one right here, this power conditioner switch. There's two switches that turns the entire studio on and off. If I flip this switch and I flip the switch on this top one here, it turns everything here off that needs to be turned off for the night. So it's real easy to turn the studio on and off.
There you go.
Even though there's
a million things.
60-some power cords back there. This piece here is a brand new piece. We don't have it active yet, but we're going to be changing over the studio. We have the RG cables running front to back. We're actually going to move to fiber optic cable.
Oh, wow.
This is a talkback converter that takes the fiber optic and then brings it back into the hardwired system here on the front. This is a big HifiVega, and we use this one. You can see it's got 2 solid-state drive cards in it. This is where we record stuff. If we want to record a show, if we want to record the teaser, we can do whatever we want to these SSD cards, and then we just pull these out, stick them in the computer over there, and we can pull the content right off and play. Just like you saw last night happen with shooting the teaser.
Right.
Record it to an SSD card, pull it out,
boom,
go to the computer.
Straight over.
These two HyperDecks, as I said before, they're on the main switcher, and then this HyperDeck lives on this switcher. So this is our upstream switch. This is our downstream switch. And with the downstream switch, what it allows us to do is do overlays and other things. So for those right now, you're getting the behind the scenes feed from Bill because it's switched right here. If I go back to here, you see now
the main feed,
but from the main feed on the switcher that's to the front of the room. So it allows us to go from Ernie's main switcher. We can go to this behind the camera view. As you can see, we've got a camera over here. Behind the scenes, you can see it over there. And then Ernie and I have this love-hate relationship with GoPro. Because if you look up on the wall, there's a GoPro camera sticking up on the wall that Ernie uses to get that big, wide, behind-the-scenes shot from back
at the end of the night.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Every time Kip goes to use that GoPro,
it doesn't work. Nothing.
Everyone out there in Kickerland, you're getting a black screen. I hope you're enjoying that. You still got my audio. But that's what the GoPro does for me. I'm going to go back to the behind-the-scenes camera. But when Ernie comes into the studio and hits that button, the GoPro magically works.
It's Ernie's GoPro.
So I actually have a Blackmagic micro camera and lens. And when Ernie's asleep at the wheel, I'm taking that thing down and replacing it with another Blackmagic that I know works every single time. So,
Randy G says, I will convert my entire Sundown system back to full kicker if gold lettering is available. Takes him back to his youth.
I can feel that.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah.
I can feel that.
Did you notice that wasn't a no?
Oh, geez, a wink? Oh, no.
Switcher. Yeah, switcher. We were talking about, so.
Wait, listen, HifiVega says, is that some sort of Oklahoma camo or is that a frequency sweep on Kip's shirt?
Yes. Here's the truth about the matter. This really isn't a shirt that I would normally buy from. I'm like, if I was looking at this color pattern, I normally wouldn't buy this shirt for myself. But I am a huge Duluth clothing fan. I like Duluth trading clothes. And they make a line of clothing called Alaskan Hard Gear. And not that I'm in Alaska, but it's just, they're a good length, they're a good weight, they're a good feel. And I really like the clothing. But as I jokingly told people in the past, I have champagne taste in a beer pocketbook. So what I do is I subscribe to the Duluth Trading email. So once a week, once a month, during holiday season, I get an email from them. And this is the stuff that we're clearancing. This is on sale. Hey, come check us out.
Yeah.
And so I'll go. And so like this shirt, if I was to buy this shirt normally, this is an $85 shirt.
Wow.
But if you're Kip and you wait for the emails to come around and you get them, so this may not have been a color I would pick out for myself, but I don't dislike it. But when you get the shirt for $10, I'm all in.
There you go.
So,
we got to have money for audio. We can't be spending on expensive shirts.
It's probably camo audio waves, and it's how we're living rent-free in your head.
Yeah.
You don't know, but right now these waves are talking to you.
Yeah. It's subliminal.
Saying,
subliminal.
It's subliminal.
It's saying it's got about a 12 dB down at 1K. There you go. I think it's.
Right.
I'm not sure about the overlap, but you know.
I think, since this was behind the
He
scenes.
says, wait, this is a good one. Okay, we got to do it. Dano says, so Duluth makes it in schmedium?
Yes, they make it. And not only do they make it in a medium, but what I love about Duluth, first off, I'm not a big tuck in a shirt guy. Even if it's a button up, I do not like tucking in shirts. It's not my style. But I do like button ups and I do like polos. But I like some tail length so that it covers my belt. I bend over and do things. And that's Duluth's thing, is they understand that men don't want to show off the plumber's crack.
Right.
And they make their shirts long.
A little bit longer.
And if you get they make them in even tall lengths. And I've gotten those before. It's like a dress on me. You get one of those. I mean, if you need that, but I like Duluth clothing because it's designed to fit a guy.
Yeah.
Just an average, everyday dude who wants to just be comfortable and have clothes that are comfortable. And so I like the extra length. I like everything on them. And it depends on Duluth. I joke about it, but yeah, they do make mediums. But with Duluth, what I found out, this is funny, is sometimes, depending on whether it's a flannel or this, or sometimes I have to order a large. Sometimes I need a large tall. Sometimes I need an extra large slim fit. It just, the way they cut it, so if you get into Duluth clothing, you'll quickly find out that if you want your clothes to just fit you nicely, but be a little baggy, but not look like you're wearing Omar the Tent.
Right.
You got to figure out which one from them works. And once you figure that out, I just know that if I'm ordering button-up shirts that are Alaskan Hard Gear, they're on sale, I'll always get a large tall. If I'm ordering a flannel, I get an extra large slim fit. I just know which clothing from them now to buy. and this isn't a plug for Duluth, but I guess it sounds like one.
Yeah.
I wait till the stuff's on sale and I buy it, and I love Duluth clothing. I've got stuff from Duluth I've had for years, like their underwear. I'm just here to tell you straight up, once you buy Duluth underwear, you're done. There's nothing
Oh,
else.
man. Calvin Klein's out the window there now, huh?
Who?
Exactly. Who?
I like their stuff, so it's I wait till it's on sale. I spend my money wisely, I really do. I have champagne tasting beer pocketbooks, so I wait till stuff's on sale and I shop. And when you buy good clothes that you enjoy wearing and they last a long time, you definitely get your money's worth out of them. I mean, I've had this shirt for well over a year and I paid $10 for it. So
There you go.
I can't complain. So moving down the studio here, obviously this switcher lets us do the GoPro when it's working. If Ernie was here, it would work for you, just magically. For me, it doesn't. This is the behind the scenes camera. This input right here is actually what we call the DS key. So when you watch the show at night, there's that bug that runs up the top, says Kicker Unmasked Live. That's what we call the downstream kicker key. That's the bug. So if we just want to view that or look at it, we can. That's the input from this HifiVega here. This HifiVega is dedicated to this switcher. And then last but not least, that's the main feed from the studio. So we can switch between any of those on the fly right here on the second mixing console. I'll go back to behind the scenes because you guys can see Bill answering. I know he is. He's answering questions. So, and we have 4 additional inputs on this mixer that we're currently not using. This mixer, the way it's set up, it has 4 HDMI inputs and 4 SDI inputs. We try to do everything here in the studio over SDI because the cable is just a much more reliable cable for in-out, plug-unplug. HDMI is too fragile.
Right.
I just wish they wouldn't even use HDMI and stuff like this. They offer a little box that converts SDI to HDMI, so you can come all the way up here with an SDI cable and then plug into another box and another power cord and convert it, and that's what I typically do. Anything in the studio we have that's HDMI, I convert it to SDI because I don't want to deal with HDMI cables. They're too fragile. My own laptop up there, the laptop ports wore out because we plug and unplug, and so sometimes on the show, I try not to let it be visible, but I freak out a little bit when my screen goes blank. And it's because I got to sit there and wiggle and jiggle the HDMI cable to come back so the ports wore out. Now, it's HDMI from the laptop to the converter box, but then from the converter box, it's SDI all the way to the TV and all the way back here to the studio, but HDMI is the weak link.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. And then last but not least, which is important for Ernie, are these 2 screens right here. This is the best way I can tell you this is a true calibrated color screen. Meaning the color that Ernie sees on this is really what's coming out of the switcher, out of the cameras. Now, what you see on your device, whether it's a phone, a TV, laptop, computer, it's going to be based on what that screen's capable of reproducing.
Yeah.
All we're worried about is we're sending out an accurate color feed. We can't change how your screen affects what you see. We just can't.
Right.
And then this here, for those who are into it a little bit, this is actually an RGB spectrogram. And so this is the red spectrum, the blue, the green spectrum, and the blue spectrum broken down. And so you can actually see what the output intensity is in the blue band, or the red band, the green band, and the blue band. And so on the fly, Ernie can see, okay, well, if the picture looks off, boom, well, my problem, shoot, look how much drop I've got right here. I know that that's the problem, and he can go over to the camera and he can adjust it on the fly and bring those things back up. So when I say Ernie's a busy guy back here, I'm not joking. Ernie is focused not just on which camera to bring up and sharing information between Tim and the guys running StreamYard, but he's focused on all of this, making sure that we've got a consistent, high-quality video feed going out. There's a lot more to it than people think there is, and just setting up a camera and say go.
Right.
Then as we move down here, don't move, Bill, you're good. Seriously, I wasn't trying to be a smarty pants. So this is the second screen I was telling you that it shares with that screen down there. So from this screen right here, JW can control the inputs onto this mixer. And one of the things that he has the option to do, and we create these all the time, is to give you an idea. I'll bring one up on screen here. I'll just do them both. So lower thirds, that's what that's called, if anyone cares to know, but that little titling at the bottom of the screen is called a lower third. And so when we have guests come in the studio or do things, typically we create a lower thirds on the fly, and then when the person's on the screen for the first or second time, we'll actually bring up a title like that to let you know who it is so you understand who's talking. Or if we get into the show and it's gone 30 minutes and that person may come back on, we might show it again just to remind you who it is. But this allows us, this second switch allows us to throw those lower thirds onto any of our feed, and it overlays over on top of everything. And so that's also controlled from right here. So I'll go ahead and take those away. And it can be any name, anything. It can be a graphic, it can be a name, it's whatever we want to be a lower third. When we did the original Unmasked, we actually had animated lower thirds that Jesse and our team put together. Those were really cool. It's just a lot of work to put together an animated lower thirds. So we just, on the normal show, we don't do that. And then last but not least, you kind of saw it at the front on my computer. This is the behind the scenes. So this is the StreamYard computer right here, and those two computers we showed down here. The computer on the right, its only job is to take the handoff from the Blackmagic switcher. It actually comes down here to what's called a webcaster.
Yeah.
So this final box, and there's a lot of chains in this puzzle, but when it goes through all the switching, all the audio comes in, everything's blended together, we got what we want, it's all handed over to this box right here, and this box talks to that computer and sends the audio and video over to it. The computer thinks it's a webcam.
Yeah.
That's what it fools it into thinking. And so we get a 1080p video signal out of here, we get our audio feed out of here into that computer, and that computer's literally, its only job, and that was on purpose, that's only job is to take that input from that webcaster and send it to the internet over StreamYard. I did not want a computer over here. A lot of you guys, maybe you if you're into computers, you buy a brand new computer, you get a few years down the highway, it worked great when you first got it, but then you start loading software and there's other things you run, and then all of a sudden it just feels bleh and sluggish. And then if you happen to go into the task manager, look, and you're sitting there and you're not doing anything, you're just looking at your computer and 50% of your CPU is being used all the time. That's why it's sluggish. Your hard drive's mostly full. So when this computer is doing its thing, when it gets full tilt boogie trying to get this feed out, and you look at task manager, it's like 4%. Just how I want it. I want the computer to lope along very easily and not have any issues so that we're always getting a good feed out of here. The times that you've seen any audio or video issues out of this studio, I can guarantee it has to do with our internet feed out of the building, or it could be at StreamYard with internet going out. But the internet out of this building is typically good, but it's spotty sometimes. So if you see issues like that, it's 9 times out of 10, it's nothing going on back here. It's simply the data stream that's leaving the building, which you guys know that. I mean, there's times I watch you guys where, hey, I'm back. So, and it's just because of data lockups. Someday we'll all have instantaneous, really fast internet everywhere. We're not there yet. And so that's what happens is packet loss and stream loss and things like that causes high pings. It's kind of a dynamic thing, and that's what happens with data. But that's what this final terminal here is for, is just to take the output and send it out to StreamYard. We've put together here what we feel, could you do better? Absolutely. If money's no object, you could do even more than this. But that being said, if you look at what we have put together here, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just want to look up the Blackmagic product and go look at what it costs, you can just figure out for yourself. There's some money sitting here.
Well, people see this is a real studio. This is not me sitting at my desk with a Focusrite Scarlett, a shotgun mic, and a Mac Mini.
But all that said, your feed always looks and sounds good.
Yeah.
It really does.
But I only have to do one thing.
You're doing one
I
thing.
have to do one thing.
Exactly. And so, we're blessed that, not going to SEMA and not going to CS because of the pandemic, the money that we would have normally spent for marketing to do those events, we use that money to set up this studio. And as Ernie and I joke about all the time, we're still drinking from a fire hose. When we started this, it's not like we knew any of this. We had to learn. And we drank from a fire hose. We learned a lot. We learned what we were doing wrong, what we thought we were doing wrong, we were doing right, what we were doing right, we were doing wrong. And so now we're still drinking from a fire hose, but it's like someone turned the pressure down a little bit because we've got a little bit of learning under our belt. But we're always staying on top of this. There's always new gear coming out. It's always that thing, do we need to get new gear? Is it time to upgrade? Will we get better quality?
Right.
It's fun, but at the same time, you got to know when to say when.
That's the YouTuber's dilemma. You're getting to see it now.
And then, so as we come down here, obviously, this is the behind the scenes camera. So like when any time Ernie gets a shot from back behind, this is a Blackmagic mini cam, and it has a monitor on top of it so that they can turn around, they can see exactly what feed's coming out of the camera. And this is how we get the behind the scenes view. And then this right here with the frog and the beads, Bill earned every single one of those, by the way.
Yeah. Well earned.
But Bill, when he's following the social feeds, because then Bill will log into actually Facebook and YouTube, and he actually watches the feed that comes out of those programs.
Right.
And so he does he hooks up his laptop, he's got an extra monitor right here, a curved monitor, and this is where Bill sits to handle all that right
Yeah,
here.
this is where he puts up with all you knuckleheads.
It's where he put it. So obviously,
There you go.
I had it taped up here once, and I think someone got angry and it pulled off, but normally we have this there. But this is for Bill Frog.
Yeah.
So this is his.
What do you say I end this stream, since we've seen it all, And then we answer a few questions.
if you want to.
All right.
Before you end it though, real quick.
Yeah. We got
I said
one.
I'd show you. Remember that
Oh,
wireless
yeah,
cam?
yeah. The wires.
I wanted to show this here. So this is a battery pack, micro cam, lens, wireless transmitter, and a 1080p stream, all on hardware.
That's insane.
And this will talk wirelessly to that antenna system that's at the other end of the room right here,
Yeah.
sitting up in the air. So this is how, and you've seen us use it on some of the episodes, where we can go down and get into cars, or we can do whatever you do. So this is our mobile wireless rig that we use up here, and it's another Blackmagic rig setup. And
That's thousands of dollars right there in your hand.
yeah, it is. It is. I don't. On one hand, I don't want anyone to take any of this as bragging.
Right.
It's just also on this. It's not a bragging, but yeah, there's thousands of dollars sitting there. This is what it takes to kind of do the quality production we do. And if you're seriously looking to pursue something, do this yourself.
That's what it's going to take.
It's a reality check. There's going to be some money involved in it.
Yeah.
And of course, we keep extra microphones, because if we have a microphone that dies or the cord gets pulled apart, we can't not have a lapel mic.
Yeah.
So we keep extra parts here. We have extra batteries for everything. I told you earlier that we use AA batteries. We do and everything, and these are the recharging units. So we use rechargeables and just about everything.
Yep. I've got them all over my place,
These are
everywhere.
batteries for the headsets that Ernie and Tim use. We got plenty of them. Before you end the feed, since we're showing behind the ugly house, you got to at least show that side too, because that's
okay.
a mess.
This is the mess. We've got a lot of stuff. This is where the water is.
Yeah, we have a water system in here. We keep bottled water cold for us in here. And then of course this is the sanitary station. So we've got, your spray, disinfectant, we got 3 or 4 things of that, we got some cloths, we got some paper towels.
This
we got
looks
some
like
napkins.
the side table whenever you're sick at home and you miss school.
Yeah, because it's never complete unless you've also got some Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, you got to have the Pepto-Bismol.
So
That chewable stuff, that'll stain your tongue black, man. You can't mess with that chewable stuff.
I found out. That's why we don't use.
You got to break it up and like swallow it.
This is post-show.
Yes,
This is pre-show.
absolutely.
So, if a dinner was a little spicy and we're having some problems, we're equipped with a little Pepto-Bismol to get that taken care of. But, this was fun. I hope, getting a look behind the scenes, I hope you appreciated and enjoyed it. Hi-Fi wanted to do it, and of course, we're down for just about anything here. I mean, I might even rob a bank. I'll drive the getaway car. But other than that, that's probably my limit right there. But it's fun. I hope you enjoyed this. I guess we're going to end your stream. We're going to move to the kicker stream.
And we'll move to the kicker stream.
All right, so if you're tuned into the Hi-Fi stream right now, understand that the Kicker stream is live right now. We're on Kicker Facebook, we're on Kicker YouTube, and we are on the Andy McGill Living Loud with Andy YouTube feed. If you want to continue this after he rolls out and does what he wants to do, come join us on those feeds. We're going to go to the front of the room and we'll try to answer some questions.
Yeah, we'll answer some questions. So before we log out, let me tell you how to enter to win the Big 3 kit again. You have to be subscribed. Super simple. Hopefully you're already subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and do that now. And go to HifiVega.com. Go to the bottom of the page, submit form, enter your email address, and then most importantly, once this video is done and uploaded, comment on the video afterwards. The live feed comments don't count because it doesn't keep track of those. And I want you to comment with whatever you want to comment plus your email address so I can contact you. And I'll make a video later telling you who won. You got till tomorrow at noon. Matter of fact, I won't make a video. I will do a live stream with my guy, Dean, tomorrow. I'll let you guys know on Reverse Polarity tomorrow at 7:30 who won. So, yeah, shout out to the hair. That's it. I hope you guys like the stream. Watch Kicker. Go over to Kicker. Watch us on YouTube. Watch us on Facebook, wherever you want. So, that's it. And we'll see you guys literally right now.